Hi everybody. In this video, we're going to continue with how to do some different applications with percentages. And we're going to focus on some more money-based examples this time. And we're going to look at sales tax, commission, and discounts. So let's start with sales tax. And total price. So a lot of times when we go shopping, we do have to pay sales tax on an item. And the sales tax does vary by state. Again, I'm talking about the United States here, by state, and then also sometimes even by county and city as well, depending. And also by item. So it can be quite confusing. So in Massachusetts, for example, when you go to a restaurant, you do have to pay sales tax there. But if you're grocery shopping at a grocery store, there is no sales tax on food items. So again, it does vary depending on where you are, what you're buying. Even with different towns, there could be slight changes in the sales tax if you were at different restaurants and things like that. So it does get a little bit tricky, but the way we calculate it, once you know the sales tax amount, is all the same. So even though the percent may vary from town to town or state to state or item to item, the calculation is going to be the same. So sales tax is a tax that is charged on certain items purchased. And again, this percent, it's stated as a percent typically first. So this percent can change from state to state or item to item, but typically for sales tax, you tend to have a percent first. So let's say we're shopping, we may know that the sales tax is 5%, or maybe it's 7.2%. So there is, for that store or that register, they will know the sales tax that needs to be applied if it does need to be applied. So it typically starts as a percent, and then what you do on your check or your receipt is you'll see it in the dollar form, right? So how much you actually paid in dollars. So that's really what we have to calculate here. Okay. So we can still use that same general formula. So you have percent times your base equals your amount. And in this particular case, everything has very specific meaning. So the percent here is your tax rate. Okay. Your base here would be your purchase price, right? So that total purchase amount or price. And then the amount is the sales tax that you pay in dollars, right? So we're starting with a percent, and then we're converting it to a dollar amount here. Once you have that sales tax, then what you can do is you can find your total price or total bill would equal the purchase price plus your sales tax. So let's do an example. Find the sales tax and total price on the purchase of an $85.50 bike in a city where the sales tax is 6.2%. So going up here, I have my tax rate comes first. So it's going to be, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. That's going to be that 6.2% times your base, which is your purchase price. So it's that 85.50 is going to equal your sales tax. So again, for our setup here, you're going to notice that for these problems, your sales tax is typically going to be your X. I still need to change this over to the decimal form. So I'm going to use 0.062 times 85.50. And then I'm definitely just going to take out my calculator here. And what I get is exactly 5.301. Now remember that for money, we typically round to 2 decimal places. So here would be my 2 decimal places. The 1 is small, so the 0 is going to stay. So your sales tax is $5.30. So then your total price that you're going to end up paying is going to be the original $85.50. So I'm just using this formula here, plus that sales tax of $5.30. I'm going to use my calculator here and make my life a little bit easier. And I get, all right, I think I could have done this by hand faster. Let's see, 5.30, $90.80. So total price that you'll end up paying is $90.80. So that's one very common application that we often see of percents, and that probably most of us actually see it every single day. We just don't actually compute it ourselves because it's already done in the receipt for us. But it's something to think about. If you're paying with cash and there is sales tax, you need to make sure, obviously, that you factor that in to your budget when you're out shopping. Let's do one more example on sales tax, and this one we'll do it a little bit different. Instead of having our X be on the sales tax, which is probably the most common, we're actually going to find the tax rate this time. So our X is going to be the percent. All right, so let's say the sales tax on a $310 TV is $26.35, and we want to find the tax rate. So maybe you went shopping and you bought this TV and you're like, hey, what is this $26.35? How much was that? How much was that percent that I paid, right? So we're working backwards this time. Now, when you hear that word rate, just as a reminder, that word rate is often used interchangeably with percent. So we have lots of different rates, and oftentimes it does mean percent. So it's just something to keep in mind. So I'm still going to use my same general setup. So I'm going to go back here to my first page of notes, and I see I have the percent. So in this case, it's the tax rate times the purchase price is going to equal the sales tax. So I don't know the tax rate this time. I do know my purchase price was $310, and the amount of the sales tax was $26.35. So I'm still using my base here, and I'm just writing B for base and A for amount, and my amount here. I'm just going to rearrange this to make it a little bit easier for myself. So I'm going to solve this out by dividing both sides by 310. And when I do that, I do get 0.085. So remember, you have to still change to the percent form whenever you're solving for a percent or a rate. So to do that, we're going to move 2 spots to the right, You're multiplying by 100. So I have 8.5, and now I add in my percent. So my tax rate is 8.5%. Right? That's a pretty high percent if you think about it, right? So if you're going shopping and you're not budgeting for tax, well, that could be quite a big increase here. Even if the TV was on sale, that percent of the tax rate is still going to bump that price back up a little bit, right? So just watch out for your taxes when you go out shopping and things. Another really common example or application of percents pertaining to money is commission. So a couple definitions here. A wage is a payment for performing work and a wage could be an hourly rate. So you could make your wage hourly. It could be what's called a commission, which we'll talk about in a second. It could be a salary where maybe you get paid the same amount every single week, no matter how many hours you work, for instance. So it could be any of those things and so on. And a commission is a wage such that the employee is paid a percent of their total sales. Okay. And there's actually quite a lot of positions that do earn commission. So for instance, the real estate industry is a really popular example. So someone who is a realtor, like an agent or a broker, does not make any money unless they actually sell a house, right? So, or the people they're working with buy a house. So it doesn't, they actually don't make any money until someone actually sells a house, and then they get a percent of the sale of the house. So that's just one example. Another example could be other types of sales positions. So I know, for instance, my brother used to work for a furniture store. So he had gone to school for a while for interior design, and he decided to go work for a, a kind of upper scale furniture store so he could kind of help people design their rooms and things like that. And he did earn a base salary, which was small, but then he also earned commissions on any sales that he made. So some people may earn their wage entirely on commission, like a real estate agent. They typically only work on commission. Whereas other people, my brother is a great example. He did earn a small salary, and then he also earned most of his income based on commission. So there is variability. Some people earn just one, some people earn both. Others may have a higher salary, but a smaller commission percent, and so on. So it's just another way that you can earn some money. And if you're going to take a job for a position, it is something to think about if you are a good salesperson and if you can sell items. I'm going to be honest, that is not for me. I actually waitressed for a really long time and also managed in the restaurant industry for a little bit too. And I am not a person who upsells. So we would always have contests on who could upsell the most dessert or the most appetizers, and that was never me. I was always a very good waitress because you could probably tell I'm super detail oriented, and I tend to be good at multitasking and things like that and planning. So I was always fast and on task, but I could never upsell anything to save my life, just being honest. So a job with commission, not for me. I'm not going to be successful, right? And then there are other people who are just that personality that is really good at that job and they can do really well. So it's just something to think about if that's a job that you're looking into that pays commission. So let's look, I'm gonna go to a new page here. Let's look at, actually, let's do a general formula first and then I'll go to a new page and we'll look at an example. So I'm going back to my basic formula of percent times base equals amount. So what happens here is your percent is going to be your commission rate. So maybe that person makes 5% commission, maybe they make 1% commission, maybe they make 20% commission, whatever it is. The base is going to be their total sales, and the amount is the actual commission. So the commission is the dollar amount, so the amount that they actually are making as their wage. So So now let's go ahead and try an example, and we're going to keep this base formula in mind here. Okay, so I'm going to use my brother. So Professor Pollard, I will say he's actually in a different job now, so he doesn't still work for that furniture store, but just as a side note. Professor Pollard's brother earns 2.5% commission on all furniture he sells. If he sold $54 worth of furniture last week, how much did he earn? Okay, so we're going to use, again, that kind of base formula that we have, which says that percent times base equals amount. So my percent here is that 2.5%. That's his commission rate. Now remember, your base here is going to be your total sales. So his total sales, what we're multiplying by, is that 54,000. And that's going to give us his commission that he earned. I still have to change this over. So I'm actually looking at 0.025 times 54,000. And I'm definitely going to use my calculator here. And I see that he earned $1,350. So he earned $1,350 in commission. Okay. Now, again, like I said, commission can really vary from company to company. Sometimes it's a small percent, sometimes it's a larger percent. You know, sometimes you may actually have to have a minimum sales before you start making commission. So there's other companies will say, yes, we do commission, but you have to sell $50,000 first. And then anything after that, you'll get commission on, right? So it can get quite complicated. Different companies may have different commission rates. They may have variable rates depending on how much you sell. So sometimes the rate will increase based on the more sales you have, or you may be able to negotiate for a higher commission rate, etc. So again, it can get quite complicated. And maybe there's also a wage. So maybe my brother also earns $9 an hour. So I would incorporate his base salary of $9 times 40 hours a week plus his commission, right? So you could have some difference there. All right, let's do one as well, but we're finding the rate. So let's say a salesperson earned $1,560 for selling $13,000 worth of electronics equipment. We're going to find the commission rate this time. So remember, rate means your percent. So that's our goal here. That's what we're trying to find. So I'm going to use an X for the percent. The total sales were 13,000, and the commission earned, so the part or the amount earned, was 1,560. To solve this, I'm going to divide both sides by 13,000. And I can also rewrite it with the 13,000 first. I kind of skipped that step here. We get the same answer. And I do get 0.12. Now, again, don't forget, we have to change to the percent form here whenever you are solving for a percent. So I'm going to multiply this back by 100, and I get an answer of 12% rate. Okay, so this person earns a higher commission rate than the one in the previous example. And again, this is really going to vary from industry to industry. If you're in the real estate industry, your percent tends to be quite small because, you know, selling a house is a lot of money. Houses are going for 200, 300, 400, 500, etc. dollars. So even though your percent is very small, you still could be earning a good amount of money there because the sales amount is so large. So the last set of examples I want to do in this particular video is on discount and sale price. This video rate sale price. Actually, one thing I do want to say before I move on, I forgot, is so with commission, now tipping is not quite the exact same thing as a commission rate, right? Because people tip at different percentages, but the calculation would be the same. If you're out tipping, so maybe make a little note here. I love all these percent examples if you can't tell. I'm always thinking of more in my head. So again, it's not quite commission, but let's say you're tipping and you want to leave a 20% tip and your bill was $50. I'm just going to keep the numbers easy for a second. It's still the same sort of idea here. So that percent, that rate is 20%, and your total bill is $50. So when you multiply those together, you get your tip amount. So you can just take your percent in decimal form and multiply by your total bill, and that's how much you can tip. And of course, tipping varies based on industry to industry, state to state, just personal preference. So that's why it's not a commission. It's a little bit different because there's no set rate for tipping, but it does work very similar. So a lot of people who earn tips are dependent on that for their salary. Just as a former waitress myself. Now this was a few years ago, so it may have changed a little bit. But the minimum wage for waitressing was around $2.63 when I first started, so $2.63. It's probably a little bit higher now, but it's very low. It's less than a normal minimum wage, at least in a lot of the country. And bartending is typically even less than that. So again, this was a few years ago, but when I was younger and in the field, it was $1.45 an hour. So if you're out at a restaurant or at a club or a bar and you're like, I don't really want to tip, just something to think about that most waitresses, waiters, bartenders, servers, etc. in the restaurant industry don't make a livable salary. They make usually less than the standard minimum wage. So they are dependent on their tips as their actual salary. And just something to think about that people who are not in the industry don't always realize. So if you are out and there is tipping and you can afford it, think about being a little bit generous there, right? Because those people are actually dependent on you really for their income for the day. So if they have a slow day at the restaurant, there's not a lot of patrons, then they're not making a lot of money that day because they may only be making $3 an hour for something like that. So just kind of a little side note there where tipping is a related topic, although not quite commission because the percent will vary from person to person, but similar idea. All right, last topic for this video, discount and sale price. So again, another one that I think people really use all the time. And it's going to be the same sort of idea. So let's start with our base formula. So your percent here is going to be your discount rate. The base is going to be the original price. And the amount is going to be the amount of discount. Now, there's a few different ways to find the sale price of an item. So I'm just showing you one way. There's obviously different techniques too. But if we do it this way, the amount that you're getting is the amount of the discount. So it's how much you save. It's not the total final price. So your sales price, or sale price, is the original price minus the amount of the discount. Okay, so I just want to clarify that. And again, there's a couple different ways you can do this. So if you have another technique that you've used already, then that's fine too. But this is one way that we can find our discounts and then also find our sale price to see if something is worth, worth buying. So Professor Pollard is out shopping and sees a $40 pair of pants on sale for 20% off. How much is the discount and sale price? So we do want to know both here. First, I'm going to find the discount, sort of like a step one, and then I'm going to find the sale price. So my percent here is your percent of discount. So this is my percent of discount, how much it's off. So it's 20% off, so it's 20%. The original price of the pants is $40. So I'm going to multiply that by 40, and that's going to give me my amount of discount. So again, typically, doesn't have to be every problem, but typically the amount of discount is what you're trying to find a lot of times, particularly if you're out in the real world shopping, right? That's what you want to know is how much am I going to save? So I multiply that percent by the original price. And you can use your calculator here, and what you're going to get is 8. So the discount amount is $8. So this is how much you save. And then the sale price, I keep running sales. Sale price is equal to the original amount of 40 minus my discount. So they're going to be $32. Right, so the pants will be $32. So that's how we can find a sale price here of an item. Now, one thing I do want to talk about before we totally end this video is a lot of times when you go shopping, you'll see a percent off and then I'll say, oh, and take an extra another percent off, right? So how does something like that work? And I feel like I see this all the time at Kohl's. I'll be honest, I'm not a big Kohl's shopper because I kind of can't stand the fact that it's always like a discount on a discount on a discount when I go shopping there. So I don't go there very often, I'm not going to lie, but they're a great place for an example like this. Or sometimes we'll see it at the malls too. If you're at a clothing store, it'll say, this rack is 30% off, and then I'll say take an extra 20% off on top of the 30%. So it's like, well, what does that mean? Is it 50% off? And it's not. So let's say Professor Pollard is shopping again. Sees those pants for $40 on sale for 20% off. Then she sees the sign says, plus take an extra 30% off. How much is the sale price now? So when you see a sign like this that says take 20% off, then take an extra 30% off, or you have multiple coupons for the same item. So maybe it's on sale for 20% off, but you had a coupon already for an extra 10% off, right? So they don't add the percents together. It's not 50% off. They do the discount one at a time. So first you would do the 20% off because that would be the leading percent here. And we did this in the last example. So to save some time here, we already saw the sale price end up being $32. Okay. And then you would do the next percent. So now I'm going to do the extra 30% off. And it's off the sale price from part 1. So that's how they do it. It's not off the original price now, it's off the new sale price because they've already taken 20% off the item. So you're going to end up doing 30% times $32 to get your new discount. So we get 9.6 here, so it's $9.60 off. So my final sale price would be the $32 minus the $9.60. So we're looking at $22.40 here for your final sale price. Now, this is still pretty good, right? $22.40 for a $40 pair of pants, that's a good discount. But it's not quite exactly 50%. 50% would be half. So half of $40 would be only $20. So this is a little bit more. So you want to be careful when you see those multiple percents off, or if you have multiple coupons, they do come off of the original sale price. So they'll do like one sale price calculation first, then they'll do the next one, then the next one, etc. if you have multiple. So what happens is your discount is not quite as high as if you were to combine the percents together because your sale amount is decreasing each time. So it does affect that there. So just something to keep in mind because I do see this a lot when I go shopping too. And I wanted to point that out to you guys. All right, last thing I wanted to show you guys in this video is a real world application. So I'm going to do another Amazon one just because it's so easy to kind of see here. And I found an item that is on sale for Amazon, so on sale. Now, I think most of us use Amazon for a lot of our shopping, not everybody, but you do still have to watch the discounts. Sometimes things on Amazon are not always the cheapest. Sometimes they're great deals and other times they're not. So just because something's on sale on Amazon doesn't always make it a good deal. But I just wanted to find one item on sale just to kind of show you guys. So here's an item. This is Narwhal School of Awesomeness. And I know I just chose this because it was on sale and it's one of my kids' favorite books. They're really cute. So I figured I'd bring this one up and you can see here, oops, sorry guys, that I have a buy new amount, I have a list price, and I have a save amount. So they're showing you the amount of discount right here, which is $2, which makes sense. So if the original price is $12.99 and the new price is $10.99, you can see that's a change of $2. So that's your discount. And they're also giving you the calculation of how much percent-wise the discount is. So that $2 is in reference to the original price, that $12.99. Remember when we do percent increase or decrease, which is also relevant here because a discount is a kind of decrease. The percent is based on the change divided by the original amount. So that 15% here that they're giving you is based on that $2 is based on the original amount of that $12.99. And I will say that sometimes Amazon does have to round. So if you actually divide $2 by the original amount of $12.99, you get 15.396. So it's actually a little bit more than 15%. But just kind of a nice thing I wanted to point out that they give you that percent of discount right there, 15%, and they do give you the discount right there as well of $2. So just kind of a nice little thing to watch out for. And I'm sure other websites do it as well. I think eBay does it too. I've seen examples there and so on. So just kind of a nice way to make sure you're, checking this stuff and thinking about it. And just like I said in that kind of Amazon piece here, they told us the discount was $2, and we know the original price was $12.99, and the new price was $10.99. So you can see where the discount came from here, right? So another way to find the discount if you don't have the percent is to take the old minus the new. So if you do $12.99 minus $10.99, you can verify that that change is still $2. And then the percent of decrease, remember, is this change over the original. So if you divide this out, you get about 0.15396. So according to Amazon, it's about 15%, moving that decimal point 2 spots to the right. So just a little side note there that, these are things that we use in the real world. And a lot of times, a lot of websites or stores may calculate some of this for you. It's a little bit harder out of store. Usually they don't have, sometimes they do have the stickers on there, but they don't always have the final price on there. But a lot of online websites will. I know Amazon does for a lot of their items, eBay does for a lot of their items, and so on. So just something to watch out for as you're going through your shopping.